In 1970, a normal house cost about 2 years of a normal income. Today, closer to 5. In a lot of cities, 7, 8, 9. So buckle up, because the real question isn't, why are houses expensive? Everyone feels that. The real question is who took those extra years of your life, and why the price ran off without the paycheck. And it's not one villain. It's 4, stacked on top of each other like the world's worst group project. And most explainers only ever tell you about one. We're doing all 4, including the part where the villain everyone screams about is actually the least guilty one. Let's go. Here's the trap in how we argue about housing. Everybody's got their one pet villain. It's greedy investors. It's the federal. It's boomers. It's avocado toast. And because everyone's yelling about their one thing, nobody ever sees the whole machine. The truth's more useful and more annoying. The price of a house is set by a system: supply, money, rules, and who's bidding. And over 50 years all 4 turned against the normal buyer at the same time. When you can see all 4, 2 things happen. You stop blaming yourself for missing the boat, and you figure out which part is actually fixable. Let me build it piece by piece. And this is all from real data, the Census Bureau, HUD, the Fed, and the housing nerds at Harvard's Joint Center. I'll flag exactly where the popular story falls apart, because honest is the whole brand here. Let's get into it. Let's pin down the real scale, because the honest numbers are damning enough, no need to exaggerate. The cleanest measure is price to income, house price divided by a year of income. In the 1990s, it sat around 3. By 2019, about 4. And by 2024, Harvard put it near 5. Basically the highest ever. Now, real talk, because honest is the brand. You'll hear 7 times income. That's true in 2 spots, nationally at the peak of the 2006 bubble, and today in pricey cities like California and Seattle. Nationally right now, about 5. But here's the kicker that makes 5 worse than it sounds. Over the last 60 years, new home prices rose almost 2,000%, while incomes rose under 1,500. The finish line has been sprinting away from the runner for 60 years straight. So, 5 years of your life for the average house, 7+ if you want to live where the jobs are. Now, the 4 reasons. If you remember one thing, make it this, because it's the biggest and the most ignored. America didn't build enough houses for like 15 years. Price is supply and demand, and everyone obsesses over demand while ignoring that the supply of homes fell off a cliff. After the 2008 crash, home builders got wiped out. Companies went bankrupt, workers left the trade and never came back, and for a decade we built way fewer homes than we needed. Add it up and the whole is massive. Estimates of the U.S. housing shortage run from about 1.5 million homes to 4 million. Millions of homes that should exist just don't. And when there are 4 million too few of something everybody needs, the price of the ones that exist gets bid into orbit. It's musical chairs with 4 million fewer chairs, and somehow you're the one standing. So why didn't we just build? Oh, because a lot of the not building was on purpose. Here's the one that genuinely surprises people. In most of America, it is against the law to build the kind of housing that would be affordable. It's called zoning. Decades ago, cities carved themselves up and declared huge chunks of land single-family only, meaning you may build one house on that lot and literally nothing else. No duplex, no little apartment building, no packed-efficient starter homes. In California, by some counts, around 96% of the residential land is single-family only. 96. Think about what that does. The cheapest housing per person is dense housing, apartments, townhomes, duplexes. Zoning makes the cheap kind illegal across most of the map, and forces the expensive kind, a detached house on its own lot, to be the only legal option. Then every new project triggers public meetings where existing homeowners, who literally profit when supply stays low, show up to block it. So the shortage isn't just a 2008 accident. It's protected by rules that ban the affordable kind and hand a veto to the people who win when it's scarce. That's villain 2, and cities could fix it tomorrow if they wanted. Now the money side, and it's got a brutal twist. For most of the 2010s, interest rates were near zero. And here's what people miss. Buyers don't shop for a price. They shop for a monthly payment. When rates are rock bottom, you can afford a way bigger loan for the same monthly, so everyone bids more, and the price just absorbs the cheap money. A decade of near zero rates pumped the balloon huge. Then 2022 hit. Inflation showed up, the Fed yanked rates, mortgages roughly tripled, and that created the cruelest mechanic in the whole market. The lock-in effect. Tens of millions of people have mortgages at 2 or 3%. If they sell and rebuy, they refinance their whole life at 7. So they just don't move, which strangled the one source of homes that doesn't require building anything. People selling their old place. So now you've got high prices and high rates and almost nothing for sale. The worst of all three at once. Speedrun any percent. Now the villain everyone wants it to be. Wall Street is buying all the houses. Honest version, and it's juicier than the meme. Big institutional investors buying single-family homes to rent them out is real, it is growing, and in a few Sun Belt metros, parts of Atlanta, Phoenix, Charlotte, they scooped up a genuinely big chunk and absolutely cranked prices and rents there. In those spots, go ahead and be mad. But nationally, institutions own only a low single-digit % of single-family homes. A few percent. They are not why the whole country quintupled, the math just isn't there. The reason this myth is so sticky is that it gives you a face to be mad at, and the zoning code doesn't have a face. Here's the trap though. If you think Wall Street is the whole problem, you'll go ban investors, fixed it. And prices barely move, because the real hole is 4 million missing homes. They made a tight market worse. They didn't make it tight. Supply did. So, a house went from 2 years of pay to 5, 7 where the jobs are, and it wasn't greed alone or the Fed alone or investors alone. It was a system. A building drought, rules that ban affordable homes, cheap money that became expensive money, and a scramble for the scraps. The one thing to keep. Housing got expensive because we made the cheap kind illegal and then stopped building. Everything else just decided who got hurt. You can't out-budget a supply problem. So understand you're competing for a deliberately scarce thing, and get onto the owning side of that line as early as you possibly can. If this connected the dots, subscribe, honest version, all 4 villains, no outrage bait. See you next one.